Hello Cloud Gurus, welcome to my course on the AWS Solutions Architect Associate Qualification. My name is Ryan Cronenberg. I've worked in IT for the last 12 or 13 years. I've worked in every role you can imagine, from being a CTO to being a developer to being a sysadmin on the front lines, and I currently work as a solutions architect for a very large managed services company based both in the US and UK. Feel free to look me up on LinkedIn, and if you have Facebook, please join our A Cloud Guru Facebook page and give us any course comments and feedback on that page. That would be fantastic. Okay, so I just want to quickly cover why you should get the AWS Solutions Architect Associate Qualification. AWS, the platform itself, has been around since 2006. It has been growing exponentially in the truest sense of the word. Amazon invest $1 billion a year into the platform. It covers 11 regions of the world currently, and to be frank, there's no one else can keep up. Amazon are basically winning the race to cloud, and this will be pretty much the default platform I predict for the next 10, 15, 20 years in terms of cloud infrastructure as a service. So if you're going to work in IT, you really need to have an AWS qualification. The Solutions Architect qualification is a good place to start. Half of the course content in the Solutions Architect qualification more or less covers off the course content in the DevOps qualification. I will be releasing a DevOps course in the next couple of months. If you want to do that course and you've already done the Solutions Architect qualification, contact me on our Facebook page for a coupon code, and we'll give you 50% off the DevOps course as well. The great thing about the AWS qualifications is that currently they're $150 to sit the exam. If you compare that to, say, a Microsoft qualification like the MCSE, it requires you to take at least 5 to 7 exams depending on what you're going for, and each of those are $150. So it is quite a cheap qualification to get, but at the same time it is very valuable. The qualification has only been around since 2013, so not a lot of people have it. It is you'll see on job adverts that it is becoming more and more in demand, so it's a really good investment for your future. So let's go through the course and just do a brief overview. This course is designed specifically to help you pass the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate qualification. There are lots of courses out there on AWS, but they miss quite a few, in my opinion. The ones I've done miss quite a few key components in order to help you pass the exam. They completely ignore the white papers. So this course basically is designed to help you pass the exam. We're going to cover off everything you need to know. In the lectures, it can be quite high level. The way you're going to pass the exam is by doing the practice quizzes, because I'm going to be quite strict on those ones. So make sure you definitely do the practice quizzes. Don't worry if you don't pass them the first time. You can always go back. As you go through these lectures, your knowledge on AWS is going to grow and grow and grow, and by the end you will be designing your own highly scalable and fault-tolerant website, but we'll come to that in a couple of slides. So this course has been designed by a solutions architect, and it's designed to help anyone pass their exam, no matter what their experience level is with Windows or Linux. Ideally, you would like to have some IT knowledge, so when I talk about DNS, you'll know what that is. But if you don't, I do try and make it as simple as possible. If there's anything that you don't understand, please leave a comment in the comment section of the course, or also just drop a note on our Facebook page. This contains all the latest content from reInvent 2014. This course has been recorded across December and early January currently. I will be updating this course throughout the year. In 2014 there was 500 product release updates, or probably even more, so it was almost 2 per day from AWS. So the AWS platform is constantly being updated and constantly changing, and because of that I will be updating the course throughout the year, so it will always be relevant to the exam. This course is going to be suitable for students sitting the exam in 2015. It's cheaper than the other courses out there. I do work full time. I'm doing this course because I'm a geek, because I love AWS. I love playing with the technology. I love teaching, teaching other people what I've learned. In this course, you're going to design a highly scalable website. You will not need any programming experience or Linux experience. I'll put all the code that you need up in the resources section. There will also be an S3 bucket that you can visit. I'll make a little web page that you can visit to get the code for the different lectures and sections of this course. Almost all lectures are under 20 minutes. I think there's 2 or 3 that sometimes go a bit over, especially in the section where we're building our own WordPress site. I think the longest lecture here is 30 minutes, but most of them are under 20 minutes. I do that deliberately so that if you're commuting, you can watch this on the train, you can watch this on the bus, and lots of studies have shown that the best way to learn is to have concentrated focus sessions for about 20 minutes and then take a break and then come back to it. So that's the way we've structured the course. I've also put a summarized section at the end of every section for maximum learning. So we might have a section with 8 lectures. At the end of it, there will be a lecture just covering what we've learned off in those 8 lectures. So we reiterate what we've learned so that you will remember it for when you go and do your exam. There's a quiz at the end of all theoretical sections. Again, that's to reinforce learning. The quizzes are quite tough. I'm trying to keep the quizzes as close to real-life exam questions as possible. And then there's a mega quiz at the end. And that's basically where you're going to practice the exam. There may be a couple by the time you do this course, but at this stage it's going to be 1. Okay, so in terms of an overview of this course, we've got introduction section, then we've got our AWS 10,000 feet overview. In this section, we're going to look at all the key components of AWS's platform. At this point, you start getting mind overload. You'll start hearing all these new terms like, DynamoDB versus CloudFront versus Elastic Beanstalk. Don't worry about it too much. These are all new terms. You will come to learn what they mean over the course. We then dive into identity access management, so we'll learn how to set up user accounts and how to set up multi-factor authentications on our accounts. We'll then go into the most basic fundamentals of AWS, which is the storage components. So we'll look at S3, we'll look at Amazon's Glacier, and we'll look at CloudFront, which is a CDN network. We'll then move on to EC2, and this is where we start really getting our hands dirty and we start logging into different components, different virtual machines running into the cloud, and we'll look at all the powers of EC2 and what you can achieve with them. And then we'll look at Route 53. This is the DNS section of the course. In the next lecture, we'll talk about possibly purchasing your own domain name. I do recommend it if you can for the course, but that's will cost you a couple of extra dollars. And then if you do implement a domain name on Amazon's Route 53, it will cost you around $1.20 per month, depending on your region. So just bear that in mind. But it is worth getting your own domain name just to reinforce the learning. We'll then look at the fundamentals of databasing, so what online transaction processing is versus what online analytical processing is, and how this relates to the various AWS services, so RDS versus Redshift versus DynamoDB. So we'll explore all the different databases in there. We'll create our own RDS instance. We'll also create our own DynamoDB table. And we'll just have a look at all the different databasing technologies in there. You'll then move on to the VPC section of the course. In this section, we'll create our own custom VPC. We'll explore how custom VPCs are different from default VPCs and how much more protection they give you. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud, by the way. We'll then move on to the application services section of the course. This is very theoretical, it's not hands-on at all. Not much comes up in the exam about application services except for Simple Queue Service and then how it compares to other application services. So that's just a theoretical section of the course. We'll then cover every single white paper that the exam blueprint tells you to study, so I'll summarize each white paper so you don't have to necessarily read them all. There is one white paper I sort of highly recommend that you read, which is around security, and it's about 75 pages, but it's really worth reading that before going into the exam. I've summarized it as best I can. I think I've picked out all the best points, but if you really want to maximize your chances of passing the exam, you should read that white paper, because it can be worth up to 20% of the exam. And then we'll have a mega quiz at the end. So that is an overview of the course. Thank you very much for purchasing this course. Please provide me with feedback. Like I said, I'm going to update it throughout the year. I deliberately try and make this course the cheapest one out there with the most content, simply because I don't live off the income that this course generates. I just do this because I love it. So I hope to work with you guys in the future. Let me know any feedback, and feel free to move on to the next lecture. Thank you.